Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who don't know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law through this channel. I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a journey with an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, we're going to be looking at MMAT metamaterials and a key message from the board to George Palikaros. We're also going to be doing a follow-up to yesterday's video where we looked at a class action against Nexbridge Hydrocarbons for MMTLP, and finishing off by having a look at some important news affecting cannabis stocks. So stay tuned for that. Before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So first headline here from Yahoo Finance: all eyes on the Fed Reserve, what to know this week. So this is a huge week. So we can see in terms of Fed Reserve news this week, Wednesday, we have the interest rate decision. So that will be key, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And Jerome Powell will be speaking Wednesday, 2:30. So hopefully he doesn't say anything too controversial. In terms of US economic data, again, the key thing that everybody is going to be focusing on, first of all, Wednesday, the Fed rate decision, Thursday, jobless claims, and then manufacturing PMI on Thursday will also be significant. And in other news, with regard to crypto, we can see Bitcoin has tumbled to approximately $66,000. Cryptos are going down on Sunday, so I think most people are calling this more of a correction right now, because obviously it has crypto has gone up quite significantly. And finally, big week for earnings, so we are going to be looking at a number of stocks in terms of earnings, and prominent ones include Micron, we also have Xpeng, we have Nike, FedEx, amongst a few others. So let's start by having a follow-up to yesterday's news where we looked at the metamaterials 14A that was issued with regard to a potential dilution, and the reaction I'd like to share with you here is from Nexbridge shareholder who stated any increase in additional shares will not improve the company. In his opinion, current management has destroyed any hope for metamaterials to ever be profitable, and a complete waste there. And one of the reactions from Art Carl in the comments, he stated right now he's in a position where he doesn't care if MMAT goes under. He bought the preferred shares, got screwed over, and then he got done on the reverse split. So he has an average now of $515 per share, which I think is quite high. Again, that will be pre-split, and then now he's saying adding another 250 million shares, that dilution is going to make his average approximately $3,000 a share, and the company are trying to say that this is something that is prudent and in the interest of shareholders. So so right now he's in a position to let it go under, and he's going to walk to the graveyard. So that's one of the responses that the company needs to look at from the many shareholders, and it's not just Art Carl, it's many others. What I'd now like to do is have a look at some news from metamaterials regarding a statement from George Palikaros. So the headline here from Investor Place is the metamaterials disavows the CEO statement on reverse split. So we know the stock is down more than 50% year to date, and in terms of what they stated here, we can see, first of all, let's have a look at George's post that they have an objection to, which is on March the 9th 2023. So what George stated: once again, there are discussions on the reverse split. Look at my last response, which still holds. There is not going to be a reverse split for being below the threshold for as long as I am the CEO for metamaterials. That's what he said. Everybody who is holding MMAT is aware of that, and he's also stated, my sources also say that John Berda and McCabe have all their shares intact. So he's talking about John Berda and McCabe having the metamaterial shares in terms of MMAT in that particular post. And what the company have responded by saying is the company disavows the Twitter statement by George Palikaros regarding whether the company may decide to implement a reverse split in order to comply with NASDAQ continued listing requirements. And the company are basically saying, well, either George is lying, or George is incorrect, or George is got a bad memory. Let's now have a follow-up to yesterday's video where we looked at the class action against NextBridge Hydrocarbons, which was shared in the video. So what Michael has followed up by saying is, my MMTLP guess is that this is a fishing expedition. So again, an interesting reaction here. He goes on to say, as we get closer to resolution, the other side wants NextBridge Hydrocarbons to disclose a valuation for the company, which will be used to push the argument of what a settlement should be look like. So interesting theory, and I think a theory that also deserves some discussion. And he's also stated here, it doesn't matter whether there are 5 billion barrels of oil or equivalent, it's a cactus farm, hedge fund sold counterfeit shares. So that's what the focus should be on, and hedge funds made billions of dollars of profit. That's what we should also focus on. And I think following on and adding on to what Michael said, I think we should also be focusing on the U3 halt and why FINRA carried that out. So certainly an interesting theory in terms of potential distraction here. So what Mr. Coincidence has stated here, again, another thing that he suggested with regard to a potential reaction from the company at the bottom, I think I'd just like to focus on what he stated here, is what NextBridge could do is potentially authorize a 0.0001 dividend and use this to enable them to locate all current shareholders. So as far as I'm concerned, no reason why that should not be done. Finally, I'd like to finish off by having a look at some news that was shared in the Discord, and this is news affecting cannabis stocks. So from the Dow Jones, it states here, cannabis stocks gain following rumours of imminent rescheduling. So this is interesting news, and cannabis stocks are a number. These are stocks that we have added to our weekly watch list. So I'm going to be sharing with you some of those that we are watching shortly. But it states here, cannabis stocks capped off a volatile week with gains after a prominent hedge fund manager suggested that regulators will soon reclassify marijuana as a less dangerous drug. So obviously this is interesting news, and it also goes on to say further down in terms of before the market opened, we know that obviously Doug Cass of Seabreeze Capital Partners LP said on Twitter, currently known as X, that his firm has learned that the Drug Enforcement Administration will soon approve the rescheduling of cannabis. So this is something that is fairly substantial, and the gains in terms of the market also come after the Department of Health and Human Services Secretary before the US Senate Committee on Thursday and defended the FDA review of cannabis scheduling status. So very interesting news there. So let's have a look at a post from Tilbury Brands, and what they stated is they've received approval for first medical cannabis extract in Portugal. So that's news in addition to the news that we are sharing there. So good news for Tilbury Brands. And what Trace Lamp has also shared with regard to tick symbol TLRY, he believes this may break out over $2 on Monday. So again, potential interesting week. So in terms of the catalyst that he shared, he's looked at acquisition and growth, revenue projection, distribution enhancement, obviously the whole cannabis sector, ETFs, and he's looking at the launch of major cannabis ETFs expected to commence in mid to late 2024. We know what's happened with crypto and Bitcoin with the launch of the ETF, so potential similar movement here that has been suggested for cannabis stocks. And he's also talked about TLRY analyst price targets currently averaging around $6.90 with a low of $2, so, and also a high of $15. And finally, the three stocks that I'm going to be sharing with you that we are looking at in the Discord for trading from Monday, tick symbol ACB, TLRY, and also tick symbol CGC. So if you would like to get the full weekly watch list as well as our daily stock alerts, details are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.